Thank you, Ting. Yeah, I became a vegetarian because I was driving from Berkeley up to like the Tahoe area and then across to go to Wisconsin on I-80. And it was a one lane because they were doing repairs on the freeway. And I was behind a pig truck. And there were no pigs in it, but you could see the pig shit, on the side. I had just finished a retreat, and I was kind of very open, and I had no thought of being a vegetarian, no desire to be a vegetarian. I really loved barbecue, um, but I was behind this pig truck for like 3 or 4 hours on the road, and that night I went to a truck stop and I ordered breakfast because that's what you eat for dinner on the road. And I ordered, fried eggs and ham and stuff like that. And I took a bite of the ham, I put it in my mouth, and I couldn't eat it. I just couldn't eat it. So, yeah, right. Anyway, are there any questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
And I've heard you say, you should do the practice that you don't like. So
Did I ever say that? Okay.
I thought you said that. Maybe you didn't. Maybe I'm imagining that, of all the practices of of the the school, that the one you don't like, the one you push away, is the one you should do. You know, you shouldn't push it away. But maybe I
Well, you should do all of them. Don't push any of them away. Okay, yeah.
Okay. Well, what I must say is, I almost feel like it's a confessional here, but I do not enjoy the keto, and maybe if it's in
Hmm.
person, it's different. But I find that I have a headache, and so I only lasted an hour and a half this time, and
Hmm.
so I, you know, and then I think, oh no, what if, like Horton Hears a Who, the little guy who did the final yip so that the kangaroos heard, and my voice wasn't there, so maybe the chant didn't work now, which is really stupid, I know, but that that so so my question is, what do you do with that push and pull
Hmm.
where where the practice just really doesn't speak to you,
Hmm.
um, and possibly gives you a headache.
Hmm.
Actually, it did give me a headache, not
Hmm.
possibly.
Hmm.
So I did stop. Um,
Hmm.
so I don't know. Any thoughts on that,
Yeah,
and
sure.
to help?
Um, so first of all, a keto is this was 3 hours of chanting, and there are ketos that will last for days. Retreat schedule start at 5 in the morning, end at 10 at night, with a little bit of breaks for meals. Um, that's a very intense thing to do. And yeah, if you're getting a headache, stop. Absolutely. Just like sometimes people have bowing problems and they can't do prostrations. What's important is, when you're in a standard practice, like, maybe there's 20 minutes of chanting, you can get through those 20 minutes. If your body allows you to do prostrations, you don't ask, do I like it or do I not like it? You just do it. So it's the mind that doesn't ask, do I like this? Do I not like this? But you just do it. That's the mind that we want to awaken. That is an awakened mind where we're not pulled about by our likes and our dislikes, but we just do it, whatever has to be done. So, doing practices that are not so congenial is very helpful for that because you just do it anyway. When our granddaughter was 10 and she'd only been in like Kansas and Nebraska and Oklahoma. She'd never been anywhere else. And so we took her to California. We took her to the San Diego area. And the first night there, we went to this restaurant on a beach in North County in Del Mar. And it wasn't a really good restaurant, but it was on the beach. I mean, literally on the beach. You there was the beach and there was the ocean. And like right there. not like across the street. It was on the beach. And we thought this is really cool. So we took her and she ordered dinner. And I forget if she ordered mac and cheese or a grilled cheese sandwich. Stan might remember, but it doesn't matter. Let's say she ordered mac and cheese. And she starts eating it and she says, "This is terrible. This is the worst mac and cheese I've ever eaten in my life." And she ate a little more and she said, "Yeah, this is really awful." And she kept eating it. Every now and then she'd say, "This is really terrible," but she kept eating it. She didn't get into this 10-year-old pout saying, "I don't like this. You have to order me something else. I'm not going to eat this." It's like this was dinner. This was what she was going to eat. She knew that that was dinner. She knew if she tried to order something else, it would take like another hour because the service was really slow. So she just ate it and kind of mildly complained about it. And I was so proud of her. I mean, I was more proud of her than if she'd won some kind of, 10-year-old science competition or something. I was so proud of her that, instead of getting all freaked out, it was just like, yeah, this is terrible. I'm going to eat it, you know? So that mind where we can really respond to what's around us without, do I like this? Do I not like this? So yeah, 3 hours of Aikido, that's a lot. That's a lot. If it gives you a headache, leave, please. Absolutely. If you're doing bows and your knees, these prostrations that we do, we have some new people here who don't know about this. We do these big standing prostrations, and we go up and down, and well, actually down and up and down and up and down and up 108 times. And it can be a little strenuous, and it can be a little hard on your back and your knees. And yeah, if you can't do it, you stop, of course. But if it's you can do it and it's like, I don't like this, then you do it anyway. Because it's only like 15 minutes. Now in Korea, they do like 1,000 prostrations. I don't know how many hours it takes. Some people here know because they've done it. Um, and on New Year's, before COVID, we used to do 500 prostrations on New Year's Day. That takes about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and then we have a little break in between. Yeah, if you signed up for something really long like that, it's just unbearable. Of course, stop. But it's to get away from this mind that says, I like this, I don't like that. That's why I might have said, if you don't find a particular practice congenial, do it anyway. Because then this checking mind, what my teacher called it, you're checking, do you like it, do you not like it? This checking mind kind of loses its power over us. And it's that checking mind, that attention to, do I like this, do I not like this? That's what causes so much, not just our own suffering, but we cause other people suffering because of that. So yeah, if it's unbearable, don't do it. But if it's less than unbearable and it's a reasonable time period, do it. And you might find that something you don't like, all of a sudden you like, and something you used to like, all of a sudden you don't like. And then you realize, oh, this is a very fickle mind, It keeps changing. So why pay attention to it? Okay? So thank you. Are there any other questions?
Uh, yeah,
Yes.
I want to comment on that. So I guess sometimes um, you do have to listen to the preferences that you have, right? You just mentioned that after you had this epiphany, right? And when you were eating bacon and you were having like a reaction to it, right? It's also like a sort of a it just
Yeah, but that wasn't like and dislike. That was perception.
okay.
I still liked the taste, and I missed eating meat for a long time. But it's like suddenly I saw that it wasn't just this piece of food on my plate. I
Mhm.
saw the connection. I saw the suffering that went into it. I saw everything that goes into before I can take that little piece of pig and put it in my mouth. So that's a perception. That's not like or dislike. That's a perception where suddenly we see things, you know. And if my mind gets bigger, I might become a vegan. I don't know. I'm not a vegan yet. Maybe never will be, you know. So, and you don't judge people. I mean, there are people, who practice Buddhism and they do eat meat. That's fine. We all have a different understanding of how things interrelate and a different kind of sensitivity to it. So it's like, little kids, like some little kids, they like to kill ants, and other little kids, without anyone telling them, they don't want to do that. They have this sense this is a being that, it's alive. It's like me, it's animate. And then there's somebody like me who sees ants and I realize they're alive and I don't want to kill them. But one time I was doing a really long meditation retreat, a 90-day meditation retreat. In the middle of that, we got this. I was in the cabin by myself, so there was this terrible ant infestation, and there were these little tiny ants up in Colorado. They were really, really little ants, and they were everywhere. I went to put on a hat to go outside, and I looked in the brim of the hat, and it was swarming with hundreds of ants. They were everywhere. I had to throw food out. They were everywhere, and I became an ant murderer. I started whacking them. I started pouring hot water on them. I started, I did everything I could to get rid of those ants. And of course, nothing worked. They just had to go away on their own. But I became the ant murderer. I hated those ants. It was really interesting to watch because, I'm on this 90-day cellar retreat. And suddenly I had the mind of a murderer. I just hate these ants. It's really interesting. And I just found myself doing that. So it's really interesting. Our minds are very, very interesting. And what to do in a given situation, it's always changing and it's different for each person. And we have to be really awake. And, this question that we use in our practice all the time, for whom? Why do you eat every day? And my teacher used to ask, why do you eat every day? Is it because it tastes good? Well, that's okay. But why do you eat every day? Why do we wake up in the morning? Why do we do what we do? If it's about just making our own lives better, well, that doesn't get you very far because everybody goes to the same place eventually. We all die, right? But if it's to really help this world, and not like consciously, oh, I'm this great person, I'm going to help this world. If we do that, that's ridiculous. That's just about us, right? But if we can really keep, this clear mind, this open heart, this strong center, and everything we do is just not about us. It's about this whole world and really seeing that we're not separate from it. Okay? Then you don't have to you don't have to overthink about what's going on. You just, oh, I see this. And you see something and then you act on that thing. Okay? Thank you.
I have a question based on Liz's comment
Sure.
about it just struck me when she said that what if it's like Horton Hears the Who and
You have to remind me about Horton Hears the Who. And I
oh,
might
it's a long story. I don't think we want to go there. It's a long story. But where does guilt fit in this? I mean, I'm thinking, oh, there's the vegetarian, you perceive the pigs, but like, what if, should somebody feel guilty if they're not doing that? Or should you feel guilty if you're not, if you're doing something just for me? I mean, where does guilt fit into this?
So guilt doesn't fit in anywhere. Guilt is a big problem. Guilt sometimes, sometimes we have these little pangs of guilt and then we realize, oh my God, I did the wrong thing. For example, my aunt died and I put up, because I'm this kind of person, a Facebook post. And then I got a call from one of her daughters and said, we don't want any publicity, take it down. And I feel terrible about that, you know? I feel terrible that I went and did something that I thought was helpful, and in fact, it was very hurtful. So, but then, you know, Zen Master Sung San, he used to say, don't look back. So I have this realization, oh, you know, my cousin said, you know, you should have asked us first. Okay, she's right. I should have asked them first. And then, so I have this moment of guilt, which tells me that's a messenger that's saying, you did something you shouldn't have done. You did something that caused pain to someone else. And then you just let it go. It's a signal, it's done its job, and then you let it go. You know, it's like physical pain. So physical pain, a lot of physical pain, it serves a purpose. It's telling you that there's something that you need to look at, like you burn yourself or you cut yourself. And there's a physical pain, and that tells you, oh, or maybe you do something to your body and it tells you, no, you should not be walking. You should be resting right now. So there's pain that's like helpful, and you pay attention to it and you don't have to obsess about it. And then there's so much pain, physical pain, that it served its purpose and it keeps going and it keeps going and it keeps going, like headaches are like that, you know. A lot of, you know, there are a lot of, like, you know, things like rheumatoid arthritis. The pain isn't serving any function except to make you totally miserable. And you don't have, you know, you can't control that. That's, I'm not saying that, you know, people who have rheumatoid arthritis, it's their fault. No, but the point is that the signal is coming, the signal is coming, the signal is coming, and it's not serving any purpose. Well, something you can't control, like the physical pain. I mean, actually you can a little, but it takes a lot of discipline. It's not easy to do, and not everyone can do it, and not every pain is amenable to it. But with mental pain, the mental pain we cause ourselves, we do have some control. We can look at it and we can say, have you served your function? And the function is usually to tell us, don't do that again. You know, so shame, guilt, those kinds of feelings, when they've served their function, then we can just look at them and say, I don't need you anymore. It's hard to do, right? Because they tend to grab us and hold on to us. But we can look at them and we can say, I don't need you. You've served your function. I learned what I had to learn. And then even if they're still sort of there, they're more in the background. And we don't have to, like, let them run our lives. We don't have to run our lives with, I did this thing and I feel this guilt, and I felt this guilt for 20 years. I mean, a lot of people do that, you know. There's no need to do that. Just whatever it was, don't do it again. Make amends, you know, all the standard kind of 12-step stuff. And then put it aside. Don't let it run your life. You know, there's a saying, nobody is the worst thing that they've ever done. So, does that answer your question? Yeah, thank you. Anything else? We got time for one short question with a short answer.
I have a short question, hopefully, about the vegetarian that you were just talking about. I am vegetarian, and I'm very happy to be a vegan. And then when, you know, I'm by myself, I can usually do that. But I live in a family, you know, one, say my dad, my mom, or my husband cook this wonderful meat dish, fish dish, whatever, and they say, you know, try this. We cook this for you. You know, how do you refuse that without hurting them? I don't have a desire for any meat, but I feel that under social pressure, I sometimes have to do that. How do you manage this? Do you have any advice?
It all depends. I mean, sometimes the correct thing to do is eat it. And sometimes the correct thing to do is say, I'm sorry, but I just don't eat that anymore. But don't check them. You don't say, oh, you're bad people. You know, you're bad people. I'm a vegetarian. I'm a good person. You're a bad person. You know, don't ever do that. This world is vast and wide. And we're all just a little piece of it, you know? And everybody has their own thing that they bring to this giant stew that we're all part of. So your part is you're vegetarian, your parents' part is they're not, and everyone respects each other. And yeah, you decide in the moment what you're going to do. And that's all. You just decide in the moment. And this for whom is very important. That's really important. So in the moment, it becomes clear what to do. And then the next moment, same situation, you might do something different. Okay? There are no rules here. Just this, clear mind, open heart, strong center. Just have that all the time, and then things will unfold the way they unfold. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. That's it, I guess. So, let's see. Did we stop the recording? Oh, good. The recording got